Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1, where history, money, and hidden treasure all come together. Today's story takes us straight into the heart of American pride and celebration, featuring one of the most iconic modern US coins ever created, the United States of America Eisenhower $1 commemorating the historic years 1776 to 1976. This coin is more than just a dollar. It is a powerful symbol of freedom, independence, and a nation celebrating 200 years of history. Many people have seen it, some may even have one lying around, but very few truly understand how valuable this coin can be. The Eisenhower $1 was issued during a very special time in American history. In 1976, the United States celebrated its bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. To honor this massive milestone, the U.S. Mint introduced a special design that would be remembered for generations. Instead of the usual eagle on the reverse, the bicentennial Eisenhower dollar featured a bold and patriotic image of the Liberty Bell set against the moon. This design connected America's fight for independence with its modern achievements, including space exploration, making the coin deeply symbolic. On the front side of the coin, you'll find the portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Eisenhower was not only the 34th President of the United States but also a respected military leader and supreme commander during World War II. His calm strength and leadership made him one of the most admired figures in American history. The portrait on this coin reflects dignity, authority, and national pride, perfectly matching the spirit of the bicentennial celebration. What makes the 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar even more fascinating is that it was produced in several different versions. Some were made for everyday circulation, while others were specially struck for collectors. Certain versions were minted using a 40% silver composition, which immediately makes them more desirable. These silver issues were never meant for regular spending and were sold directly to collectors, often kept in protective packaging. Over time, many were lost, damaged, or melted, increasing the rarity of high-quality surviving examples. Condition plays a massive role in the value of this coin. A circulated Eisenhower dollar that shows heavy wear may only be worth face value or slightly more. However, coins that remain uncirculated, with sharp details, strong luster, and no major marks, can be worth many times more. Collectors look closely at the surface, the strike quality, and even the smallest imperfections. A single scratch or dull area can dramatically change the value. Even more exciting are special varieties and errors associated with the bicentennial Eisenhower dollar. Some coins were struck off-center, some showed double details, and others were produced with unusual finishes. Proof versions, struck with mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details, are especially prized when preserved in perfect condition. These coins were never meant to be handled and were carefully made to showcase the mint's finest work. Another factor that boosts the appeal of this coin is nostalgia. Millions of Americans remember the bicentennial celebrations, parades, fireworks, special events, and patriotic decorations everywhere. This coin became a keepsake of that unforgettable time. Because of this emotional connection, demand remains strong among collectors, historians, and investors alike. As time goes on, finding top-quality examples becomes harder and harder. Coins that were once easy to obtain are now locked away in private collections. The best specimens are often graded by professional services, sealed in protective holders, and traded only at major auctions. When one of these elite coins appears on the market, collectors compete fiercely to own a piece of American history. Now here is the part that truly surprises most people. While many bicentennial Eisenhower dollars are common, the rare silver versions in exceptional condition, especially high-grade proof or mint-state examples, have achieved remarkable results at auction. Some of these coins have reached auction prices exceeding $20,000. Yes, a single Eisenhower $1 from the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial series, preserved in top condition and with the right characteristics, has sold for over $20,000 at auction. Top 2. Today, we're focusing on a coin that many people have seen, some have spent, and others may still have tucked away without a second thought. The United States of America Eisenhower $1 from 1977. At first glance, it looks like a simple modern dollar coin, but once you understand its background, details, and collector demand, you'll realize why this coin still captures serious attention in the numismatic world. The Eisenhower $1 was created to honor one of America's most respected leaders, President Dwight D. Eisenhower. As a World War II hero and the 34th President of the United States, Eisenhower symbolized strength, unity, and leadership during critical moments in American history. His portrait on the dollar coin represents not only the man himself but also an era defined by resilience and progress. By 1977, the Eisenhower dollar had already become a familiar part of U.S. currency, yet that year carries its own unique importance. The 1977 Eisenhower dollar was issued during a period of transition in American coinage. Just 1 year earlier, the nation had celebrated its bicentennial, and special designs had captured the attention of collectors nationwide. In 1977, the design returned to its standard format, but public interest in Eisenhower dollars remained strong. These coins were minted for circulation as well as for collectors, making the 1977 issue a bridge between everyday money and collectible history. On the front of the coin, the bold portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower immediately stands out. The details of his face, the firm expression, and the overall composition give the coin a sense of authority and respect. The engraving reflects classic American coin artistry, designed to honor leadership rather than glamour. The date 1977 sits quietly below, often overlooked, yet it is the key detail collectors search for. Turning the coin over, you'll see the iconic American eagle landing on the moon while holding an olive branch. This design celebrates one of the greatest achievements in U.S. history, the Apollo moon landing. It symbolizes peace, scientific advancement, and national pride. The combination of a wartime leader on the front and a peaceful lunar landing on the back makes the Eisenhower dollar one of the most symbolic coins ever produced by the United States Mint. What makes the 1977 Eisenhower dollar particularly interesting is the way it was produced. Coins from this year were struck in large numbers, but most entered circulation and were heavily used. As a result, finding a coin in flawless condition today is far more difficult than many people realize. Scratches, bag marks, and dull surfaces are common, which means high-quality examples stand out dramatically to collectors. Condition is everything when it comes to the value of this coin. Circulated pieces are often worth only a small premium over face value. However, uncirculated coins with strong luster, sharp details, and minimal marks can be worth significantly more. Collectors closely examine the fields, the rims, and even the tiniest imperfections. The difference between an average coin and a top-grade example can mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another exciting aspect of the 1977 Eisenhower dollar is the existence of proof versions. Proof coins were specially struck for collectors using polished dies and carefully prepared blanks. These coins feature mirror-like backgrounds and frosted details that create stunning contrast. Proof Eisenhower dollars were never intended for circulation, and those that remain in perfect condition are highly desirable today. Adding to the excitement are rare minting errors and unusual strikes. Some 1977 Eisenhower dollars were produced with off-center designs, doubled elements, or surface anomalies. These errors were unintentional, but they transform ordinary coins into one-of-a-kind collectibles. Error coins attract serious interest because no two are exactly the same, making them incredibly appealing to advanced collectors. Over the years, the Eisenhower dollar has gained renewed attention as collectors look back at late 20th century U.S. coinage. The large size, bold designs, and historical symbolism give this coin lasting appeal. While many people once ignored these dollars, collectors now recognize them as an important part of American monetary history. As time passes, high-quality examples continue to disappear into private collections. Coins that were once easily found are now graded, sealed, and stored for long-term investment. When exceptional pieces appear at major auctions, competition can be intense, driving prices far beyond what most people expect from a modern dollar coin. Now for the moment that really grabs attention. While most 1977 Eisenhower $1 coins are common, rare proof examples or exceptionally well-preserved mint state coins have achieved astonishing results. At auction, top-tier examples of the 1977 Eisenhower $1 have sold for prices reaching over $10,000. Yes, a single dollar coin from 1977, when preserved in extraordinary condition or featuring a rare characteristic, has brought more than $10,000 at auction. Top 3. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American coin history that often goes unnoticed, the United States of America Eisenhower $1 from 1978. Many people have seen this large dollar coin, some may even remember using it, but very few realize how important and valuable this final year Eisenhower dollar can be when the right example is found. The year 1978 holds special significance for the Eisenhower $1 series because it marks the final chapter of this iconic coin. Introduced in 1971, the Eisenhower dollar honored President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a man remembered as both a World War II hero and the 34th President of the United States. By 1978, America was preparing to move towards smaller dollar coins, making this issue the closing moment of a bold and historic design era. The portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower on the front of the coin reflects strength, calm leadership, and authority. The engraving is powerful and straightforward, capturing the spirit of a leader who guided the nation through challenging times. The date 1978, placed beneath the portrait, may look ordinary, but it carries great importance for collectors because it represents the final opportunity to own a true Eisenhower dollar issued for circulation. Turning the coin over reveals one of the most striking reverse designs in U.S. coinage. The eagle descending onto the moon while holding an olive branch symbolizes peace through strength and celebrates America's achievements in space exploration. This design connects military leadership, scientific progress, and national pride in a single powerful image. Few modern coins manage to tell such a complete American story in one design. What makes the 1978 Eisenhower dollar especially interesting is how it was produced and distributed. Coins from this year were minted primarily for circulation, and most entered everyday use almost immediately. As a result, the majority of surviving examples show heavy wear, dull surfaces, and contact marks from storage and handling. Because of this, truly well-preserved examples are much harder to find than many people expect. Condition plays a critical role in determining the value of a 1978 Eisenhower dollar. Coins that were circulated heavily are generally common, but uncirculated examples with full mint luster, sharp details, and clean surfaces are far more desirable. Collectors carefully examine the coin's fields, edges, and design clarity. Even small differences in quality can lead to huge differences in value. Another layer of excitement comes from proof versions of the 1978 Eisenhower dollar. These coins were specially produced for collectors using polished dies and carefully prepared blanks. Proof coins display mirror-like backgrounds and frosted details that give them a stunning appearance. Because proof coins were never intended for circulation, those that remain untouched and flawless are highly sought after today. Adding even more intrigue are rare minting errors associated with the 1978 issue. Some coins were struck off-center, others show doubled features, and a few exhibit unusual surface textures or striking anomalies. These errors were accidental, but collectors prize them because they are unique. A single error can turn a regular dollar coin into a highly valuable collectible. As years pass, the final year Eisenhower dollar continues to grow in popularity. Collectors appreciate it not only for its design and history but also for its place as the last of its kind. With the transition to smaller dollar coins shortly after, the 1978 Eisenhower dollar stands as the end of an era in U.S. coinage. High-grade examples are becoming increasingly difficult to find. Many of the best coins have already been graded, sealed, and stored in private collections. When a top-quality 1978 Eisenhower dollar appears at a major auction, it often attracts serious attention from collectors around the world who understand its importance. Now comes the part that surprises most people. While many 1978 Eisenhower dollars are common, exceptional uncirculated examples, rare proof coins, or pieces with notable minting errors have achieved impressive results. At auction, some high-grade 1978 Eisenhower $1 coins have sold for prices reaching over $15,000. Yes, a single Eisenhower dollar from 1978, when preserved in outstanding condition or featuring a rare characteristic, has achieved auction prices above $15,000. Top 4. Today's journey takes us to one of the most patriotic and emotionally powerful coins ever issued by the United States, the Kennedy half dollar bearing the historic dual date 1776 to 1976. This coin was created to celebrate 200 years of American independence, and it carries deep meaning. national pride, and surprising collector value that many people still don't fully understand. The Kennedy half-dollar already held special importance long before the bicentennial edition was released. First introduced in 1964, the coin was created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. Kennedy symbolized hope, leadership, and a new vision for America, and his image on the half-dollar quickly became one of the most recognized designs in U.S. coinage. By the time the nation approached its 200th anniversary in 1976, the decision to include Kennedy on a special commemorative coin felt both meaningful and powerful. The years 1776 to 1976 represent 2 centuries of American independence, sacrifice, and growth. To mark this historic milestone, the U.S. Mint created special bicentennial designs that were different from regular circulating coins. The Kennedy half-dollar received a unique reverse design that instantly set it apart and made it a national keepsake. Millions of Americans saved these coins as souvenirs of the bicentennial celebrations, which included parades, fireworks, and nationwide patriotic events. On the front of the coin, the familiar and dignified portrait of President John F. Kennedy remains unchanged. His strong profile, calm expression, and confident presence reflect the ideals of leadership and unity. The dual date 1776 to 1976 beneath the portrait immediately signals that this is not an ordinary half-dollar. That date alone connects the coin to one of the most important moments in American history. The reverse side is where the bicentennial magic truly shines. Instead of the traditional presidential seal, the coin features Independence Hall in Philadelphia. This iconic building is where the Declaration of Independence was debated and adopted, and later where the Constitution was created. The image of Independence Hall on the Kennedy half-dollar transforms the coin into a miniature monument, honoring the birthplace of American democracy. What makes the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar even more fascinating is the variety of ways it was produced. Some versions were struck for general circulation, while others were specially made for collectors. Certain examples were minted with a 40% silver composition, which immediately adds intrinsic value and collector appeal. These silver coins were never intended for everyday spending and were often sold in special sets. Condition plays a massive role in determining how valuable this coin can be. Many bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars were heavily circulated, leading to scratches, worn details, and dull surfaces. However, coins that remain uncirculated, with sharp details and strong original luster, are far more desirable. Collectors closely examine every part of the coin, from the hair details on Kennedy's portrait to the architectural lines of Independence Hall. Proof versions of the bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar take value to another level. These coins were struck using specially polished dies and carefully prepared blanks. The result is a stunning mirror-like background with frosted design elements that create strong visual contrast. Proof coins were made specifically for collectors, and pristine examples are highly sought after today. Adding even more excitement are rare minting errors and special varieties. Some bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars show doubled features, off-center strikes, or unusual surface characteristics. These errors occurred during the minting process and make each coin unique. Error coins are especially attractive to advanced collectors because they combine historical significance with rarity. Over time, the bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar has grown in popularity. What was once saved as a patriotic souvenir is now being re-examined as a serious collectible. Many of the finest examples have already been graded, sealed, and placed into long-term collections. As availability decreases, demand continues to rise, especially for silver, proof, and high-grade pieces. Collectors value this coin not only for its materials or condition, but also for its story. It represents freedom, remembrance, and national unity. Few coins manage to capture both emotional and historical significance in the way the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar does. Now comes the part that truly surprises most people. While many bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars are common, exceptional examples tell a very different story. High-grade silver versions, flawless proof coins, and rare error varieties have produced astonishing results when offered to collectors. At auction, some 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar coins have sold for prices exceeding $30,000. Yes, a single Kennedy half-dollar from the bicentennial era, when preserved in extraordinary condition or featuring rare characteristics, has reached auction prices above $30,000. Top 5. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a coin that many people have seen, some have spent, and a few may still have tucked away without realizing its true potential, the United States of America Kennedy half dollar from 1972. At first glance, it looks like a regular half dollar, but once you understand its background, varieties, and collector demand, you'll see why this coin continues to attract serious attention. The Kennedy half dollar was first introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy following his assassination. From the very beginning, this coin carried emotional weight and national significance. Kennedy symbolized hope, progress, and leadership, and his image on the half dollar quickly became one of the most recognized designs in American coinage. By the time 1972 arrived, the Kennedy half dollar had already become an established part of U.S. currency, but that year produced some particularly interesting examples. The 1972 Kennedy half dollar was minted during a time of change in American money. Silver had already been removed from regular circulating half dollars, and the 1972 issue was struck in a copper-nickel composition for everyday use. Millions of these coins were produced and released into circulation, which is why many people assume they are all common. However, collectors know that not all 1972 Kennedy half dollars are created equal. On the front of the coin, the portrait of John F. Kennedy remains powerful and dignified. His profile shows confidence and calm leadership, qualities that continue to resonate decades later. The fine details of his hair, facial features, and the overall strike quality are key factors collectors examine closely. Even small differences in sharpness can make a noticeable difference in value. The reverse side features the presidential seal, with a strong eagle holding arrows and an olive branch. This design represents both strength and peace, perfectly reflecting the ideals Kennedy stood for. The bold lettering and detailed feathers of the eagle give the coin a classic and authoritative look that appeals to both historians and collectors. What truly sets the 1972 Kennedy half dollar apart is the importance of condition and strike quality. Most examples were heavily circulated, meaning they show wear, scratches, and dull surfaces. These coins are usually worth only face value or slightly more. However, uncirculated coins with full mint luster, sharp details, and clean surfaces are much harder to find today. These high-quality examples are the ones collectors actively search for. Another exciting aspect of the 1972 Kennedy half dollar is the existence of proof versions. Proof coins were specially made for collectors using polished dies and carefully prepared blanks. These coins have mirror-like backgrounds and frosted designs that create a striking visual contrast. Proof coins were never meant for circulation, and those that remain flawless are highly prized. Adding even more excitement are rare varieties and minting errors associated with the 1972 issue. Some coins were struck with double details, while others show unusual surface characteristics or alignment issues. These errors happened during the minting process and were never intended to leave the mint. Because of their uniqueness, error coins are extremely appealing to collectors and can dramatically increase a coin's value. Collectors also pay close attention to grading. A professionally graded 1972 Kennedy half dollar that achieves a high mint state or proof grade can be worth many times more than an average example. The difference between an ordinary uncirculated coin and a top-grade specimen can mean the difference between a modest collectible and a serious investment piece. Over the years, interest in Kennedy half dollars has continued to grow. What was once everyday pocket change is now being rediscovered by a new generation of collectors. As more coins are lost, damaged, or permanently stored in collections, the supply of top-quality examples keeps shrinking. This increasing scarcity fuels demand and pushes values higher for the best coins. The 1972 Kennedy half dollar also carries emotional value. It represents a period of American history filled with change, challenge, and progress. For many collectors, owning this coin is about more than money, it's about preserving a piece of national memory. Now comes the part that surprises many people. While most 1972 Kennedy half dollars are common, exceptional examples tell a very different story. High-grade uncirculated coins, flawless proof versions, and rare error varieties have achieved impressive results when offered to collectors. At auction, some 1972 Kennedy half-dollar coins have sold for prices reaching over $20,000. Yes, a single Kennedy half-dollar from 1972, when preserved in outstanding condition or featuring rare characteristics, has achieved auction prices above $20,000. Top 6. Today, we're uncovering the mystery behind a coin that many people have heard of but very few truly understand, the United States of America Kennedy half-dollar from 1973. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but once you explore its background, production story, and collector demand, you'll realize why it has become one of the most talked about Kennedy half-dollars among serious collectors. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. From the very beginning, the coin held emotional and historical importance. Kennedy represented hope, vision, and leadership, and his image on the half-dollar became a powerful national symbol. By 1973, the coin had already gone through major changes, especially in how it was produced and distributed. What makes the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar especially unique is the fact that it was not released for general circulation in the same way as many other years. During this time, half-dollars were no longer widely used in everyday transactions, and the U.S. Mint shifted its focus. As a result, most 1973 Kennedy half-dollars were produced primarily for collectors rather than for public circulation. This single fact alone dramatically increases interest in the coin. On the front of the coin, the strong and dignified portrait of John F. Kennedy remains unchanged. His profile reflects calm confidence and leadership, and the engraving details are crucial for collectors when evaluating quality. The sharpness of the hair, the smoothness of the fields, and the clarity of the lettering all play an important role in determining value. The reverse side features the iconic presidential seal. The eagle, holding arrows and an olive branch, represent strength and peace, two ideals closely associated with Kennedy's legacy. The design is bold, balanced, and rich in symbolism. Collectors closely inspect the feathers, shield, and lettering, as even small imperfections can affect desirability. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is its limited availability in high condition. Since many were sold directly to collectors in sets, coins that remain untouched, with original surfaces and strong luster, are especially desirable today. Any coin that shows signs of handling, cleaning, or damage loses a significant amount of collector appeal. Proof versions of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar are among the most admired. These coins were struck using specially polished dies and carefully prepared blanks, resulting in mirror-like surfaces and frosted design elements. The contrast between the reflective background and the detailed portrait makes proof coins visually stunning. Pristine examples are highly sought after and rarely appear on the open market. Another factor that increases the value of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is the presence of rare minting errors and varieties. Some examples show double details, unusual surface textures, or striking irregularities. These errors were accidental, but they transform ordinary coins into unique collectibles. Error coins are especially attractive to advanced collectors because no two are exactly alike. Condition and grading play a massive role in value. A professionally graded 1973 Kennedy half-dollar that earns a high grade can be worth exponentially more than an average example. Collectors compete fiercely for coins that show perfect strikes, clean surfaces, and original mint brilliance. Over time, many of the finest 1973 Kennedy half-dollars have been locked away in private collections. As availability decreases, demand continues to rise. Collectors appreciate this coin not only for its rarity but also for its place in U.S. numismatic history. It represents a moment when the half-dollar transitioned from everyday currency to a collector-focused coin. The emotional connection to President Kennedy also plays a role in long-term demand. Coins bearing his image are consistently popular, and years with special production stories, like 1973, tend to stand out even more. This combination of history, scarcity, and symbolism keeps collector interest strong year after year. Now comes the part that surprises almost everyone. While many people assume all Kennedy half-dollars are common, the 1973 issue tells a very different story. High-grade examples, flawless proof coins, and rare error varieties have achieved extraordinary results when offered to serious collectors. At auction, some 1973 Kennedy half-dollar coins have sold for prices exceeding $25,000. Yes, a single Kennedy half-dollar from 1973, when preserved in exceptional condition or featuring a rare minting characteristic, has reached auction prices above $25,000. So before you dismiss that old half-dollar as just another coin, take a closer look. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar could be a rare piece of American history hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to discover more coins that could be worth serious money, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your next hidden treasure might already be waiting for you.